Hello there, welcome to the latest edition of Red Army TV. I've got two fantastic guests and friends of mine on this sofa. On the right wing there is Mr. Ryan Galloway and his son, Ryan Galloway, two long-time Borough fans. Gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening, you all right?
Big game, Millwall. We've got there. Borough had 1 foot in the playoffs and now we've secured it. Gal, was it as hard as we made out last week?
I was surprised how well we played as a team. I was really impressed. For a team like Millwall that are known, long balls, knocking it in, set pieces, they didn't get a sniff. I don't think Randolph needed to wash his kit this week. I thought it was a very strong team performance.
Well, I agree with you, mate, to be honest, because I think I said to the lads in here that, I was expecting it to be a little bit tougher. Bearing in mind what Millwall had said, we're going to come and mark Trier out the game and Borough the big spenders. We've had all that before with Burnley last year. Yeah. But Ryan, do you think the Borough set out professionally, or do you think we went at it hammer and tongue?
I think that's the word professional, to be honest with you. I think everyone stepped up. It was good to see that we could get goals from somewhere else other than Traore as well. I thought the run from midfield from Besic and Howson, they just couldn't deal with that. Their midfield, we just ran the show, and they didn't get a sniff. For someone that's chasing promotion as well, we were a class above. So
yeah, I mean, like I say, I was expecting a bit more of them. I thought that I thought the Borough were really professional. I can't even remember, other than I think the one chance they had maybe equalised. I can't see much more. But it's good to see, Gal, in it, that, I mean, I think Millwall, their gaffer said before the game, the Borough, they really just go for set pieces and things like that. But it's good to see that Pulis has gone and playing attacking football as well as organised, isn't it?
I think the big step change is that everybody knows what Pulis does from days of old, and he gets tagged with it, which is a shame really, because he's made a lot of changes when he's come here. The injury to Costed forced him into it, we know that, but a lot of players are playing a lot better under Pulis than what they were doing under Monk, and that's the catalyst for it all.
Yeah, I mean, the obvious one is obviously, and people talk about it all the time, don't they, Traore, but I look at the likes of Down and under a couple of managers, and he's a different type of player, Ryan, isn't he?
Yeah, I've always been one of Downing's biggest fans. I really liked it when Pulis played a bit central. We went to 3 in midfield when we first played with Gusted and Bamford was wide. I know they've had to change that with the injury, but I wouldn't mind seeing that maybe in the playoffs. But Shotton, he was 2 games under Monk, was it? Brentford and Sheffield Wednesday away. He's come back. Gibson and Ayala look like what they were when we got promoted. So everyone just stepped up. And then when you put in the class of Besic in midfield, which was a fantastic January signing, we just look a really solid team. Really solid.
I think he has got him organised. And like you said, Gal, I mean, he is renowned in Pulis for. And don't get me wrong, I'll hold my hands up. I was one of the ones thinking when he was first touted for the Borough. I think he was touted before Monk actually as well, and I was the first one thinking, do we really want Pulis? He's a bit negative. But to be fair to him, and I've got to hold my hands up, he's come in and done a job, and he's got him playing like a team, hasn't he?
I think you've got to look back a bit further back at Pulis when he was at Stoke, and when we got relegated, he signed Huth and Tunchai. Now Huth, we all know, is a big brute defender, which is fine, which is what he's living with. But Tunchai wasn't one of them players. He was a skillful winger that would cut about. And people forget that. They just see the big long throw, which occasionally we see Shot doing. It's effective. But we do it now and again. We don't do it all the time. So I initially, I thought like you, Mark. I thought, really? But I've been really impressed. Really impressed.
I mean, another goal, Ryan, for Britt.
Yes.
I think that's 2 in 3 now. I think that's 15 for the season.
Yeah.
I think there's no sort of hiding the fact that he was had a little bit of a confidence dip.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's a player, touching a bit of form again.
Yeah, well, he's always had ability, we know that, but he's been more of a bit of a poacher and stuff like that. But I think he's adding more to his game now. I think when he came out against Bristol City, that was the catalyst, because we need him to step up then. He started making unselfish runs, really run the channels and holding the ball up. Whereas before, you'd play it up to him, but you need to absorb a bit of pressure, and he couldn't do it. Now he can. So yeah, I thought his first touch for his goal against Millwall was phenomenal, to be honest with you, bringing it down from just a punt from Ayala. Getting an assist for that Ayala, which is quite nice.
Yeah, I mean, Ayala's another one for me. I mean, I think it was last week or the week before, we were chatting on here about the Borough's player of the season, and there was obviously a lot of fans saying about Traore. But Ayala's played a lot of games this year, and I've looked at some stats over the last season, and I mean, he's outstanding. I mean, just in the Championship, not just at the Borough. I mean, he's won by far more headers, far more tackles, and obviously, since Pulis has come in, goes up there and likes a goal, Gal, doesn't he?
Yeah, and the big thing for me is last season and the season before, we started getting these tweets with a picture of him with his ankle in something, and then there was something going on behind the scenes. There's been none of that this season. It's just been, yeah, I'm getting on with it. And for me, he is a really, really good player, and I think him and Gibson are the best partnership in the Championship without a shadow of a doubt. And they could do it in the Premier League for me, the pair of them.
I just want to quickly talk about the atmosphere, Ryan. I mean,
Okay.
I was there on Saturday like yous, but I thought the atmosphere was absolutely fantastic. I think there was that air, wasn't there? You know, it almost felt like the Brighton game. You know, when we played at Brighton, I know we're not knocking on promotion's door yet, a couple more games yet, but it almost felt like that, didn't it, Ryan? Yeah,
I mean, it's a bit of a cliche, the 12th man and stuff like that, but for the past few years, we really have had that. I can't remember it being rocking and we've not come away with something. It's just phenomenal. I mean, that South Stand, but it was a whole stadium on Saturday. Makes a big, big difference. It's good to do it in front of the TV cameras as well.
Yeah, I want to quickly, we've got to talk about, we're a fan show. I want to quickly talk about the pitch invasion, and I don't want to, dwell on it too much because it's not for us to talk about it. But from where I was sat, and bear in mind, I go with my 3-year-old lad, so initially it was sort of kids trying to get on there. I think it's the first time, Gal, I've ever known, and I may be wrong, but I think it's the first time I've ever known that the players on the last game of the season have never come out and sort of done the little player walk around. Now, I know we've got another game at home, but theoretically it's the end of our season, isn't it? Do you think that had something to do with the pitch invasion?
The club are told that they have to say that you cannot come onto the pitch and encroach onto it. They have to do that. The minute you say it, the people that weren't thinking about it think about it. From where I was sat, and I'm season ticket holder, so I go to all the games anyway, where the people were coming to run onto the pitch, where they were coming from, is normally empty. So for me, I'm not being nasty at anyone because it's great to see the stadium full, but the ones that run on the pitch, I don't think they come week in, week out anyway. I wouldn't class them as fans. I think they were there. Then it's, we're playing Millwall, they've got a reputation, let's run on. I think there was more of that to it. And when you look at it, it was about 100 ran on the pitch, really.
Yeah,
it wasn't
I think the majority of us,
they got booed by everybody, didn't they? So.
Well, you've heard what the two fantastic guests on the sofa have said. Let's see what the fans have got to say.
Very good game. Shame about the end. It's one of those things. Hopefully, playoffs and everything, and all good for the future. Isn't it?
Yeah, it was very good. Yeah, I'm glad we're up there, and hopefully we get a good draw. Villa, see loads, didn't you?
Yeah.
Enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Who's your favourite player?
Patrick Bamford.
Patrick Bamford.
Mint.
What was the best bit?
When we scored.
I thought it was a fantastic game. The Bullets set about it very professionally. I don't even think that the sort of haters did it at the back. It was for me, it was a far easier game I thought it was going to be. Come on, Butter.
Yeah. Brilliant. Gibson, man of the match, must be. Excellent result.
I really enjoyed the game, fantastic. I was so relieved when it was 2-0, then I could relax and enjoy it.
I think we played very well. They weren't in it at all. Millwall, it didn't seem as though they wanted the game. We took our goals well. We could have got a few more, I think, but anyway, that's it. Wembley!
Drab game, but results matters, so yeah, up the Borough in the playoffs now. We're going to win it now, aren't we? Go to Wembley.
Well, a lot of delighted fans out there. Let's have a look what the gaffer had to say at the press conference.
We're delighted that we're now in the playoffs. Now it's looking forward to the Ipswich game and then going on from there. One or two players might need a rest, one or two players might be taken out of the Ipswich game, or I might go with the same team. I'll have a good look at it next week, have a good chat with the boys and see where they are. And then we obviously look forward to those games. The most important thing is, when we turn up here for the playoffs, the Ipswich game is important. It's the next game. You know me as a man and as a manager. Every game I go into, I want to win. And I want to go to Ipswich and win. I'm sure Ipswich will be wanting to beat us as well. So, yeah, but it's the balance. It's finding out the balance for what is really, really important for us.
Another nice short and sweet presser from the gaffer. Just on that, fellas. Obviously, he spoke there candidly of maybe rotating for Ipswich, maybe not rotating for Ipswich. Gal, what would you do?
Do you change your winning team? Or do you think, well, we've got another 2 games, I need to be sure that anybody's on the bench are capable of running straight on at the drop of a hat? I think it would make sense. A couple of the crown jewels, you don't want to pick up an injury at Ipswich, which is quite easily done in the modern game. I'd make a few tweaks, but I'd try and keep the backbone if I could.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same. I think he sort of slipped up there and maybe sort of said what he shouldn't have said and then realised he said it. But he's in a do-or-die situation because he's damned if he does and he's damned if he doesn't, isn't he? But, fellas, that's enough for the first half. Join us in the second half. We'll be chatting to the fellas more and a bit more butter. Welcome back to Red Army TV. My guest today is obviously Ryan Galloway and his son Ryan. Fellas, fantastic. Now we've got Ipswich coming up, which we're obviously going to have a chat about. Well, let's see what you people on social media, on the old Twittery thing, let's go over to Matt Bland and see what you turn on social media.
Right, after the great result of the weekend, let's see what you peeps have been saying on social media this week, starting off with Phil Spencer. He said, Adama Traore is so fast that he can be knocked down by two players, turn, appeal to the ref, jump to his feet and pick up the ball again before anyone can react. Pretty impressive. Yes, it was, Phil. Next, Carl Brady, for the amount of noise he made, Millwall are the loudest team I've seen at the Riverside in a long time. Fair play to him as well, favourite for relegation and just missed out in playoffs. Buzzing when you got playoffs, so UTB. Size Insights, he stated, relative to what we've been through during the season, reaching the playoffs, it all feels like success. But if you consider the investment at the start of the season, it is an underachievement. And Jonathan Taylor, he's put, forget Fulham form, Fuller's depth, and even Warnock factor. I'll take a brave man to bet against Borough in the playoffs. Banging form, experienced squad manager, and game changers at either end. Keep your social media comments coming in to us. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Matt. Fantastic as always. It's good to have some positivity around the club. There's a couple of things I want to speak about, fellas. There's a couple of things that have sort of come out in the press. The rumour mill's now kicking about, isn't it? Now that the Borough have secured both feet in the playoffs, talking about transfers and things like that. And it's been sort of rumbling on a couple of weeks about sort of the West Brom raid and is Tony Pulis going to go back? Some of the names what have been rumoured and touted about is Dawson, Morrison, Brunt. Are them the type of players, Gal, you think he's going to go for, or do you think it's just paper talk?
I think a lot of it's paper talk, but a lot of managers do go back and have a raid. I can see that, but if I'm being honest, the three names you've mentioned there, Morrison, is he past it? The other two, I don't think they're better than what we've got anyway. I think Brunt can deliver a free kick, so what? I don't think he's got anything more to offer than what we can get out of Ayala and Ben Gibson. So who knows? But whatever, we trust whatever he does. And
Ryan, obviously the players who Tony's brought in on loan. Obviously the first one is obviously we're going to speak about is Mo Besic.
Yeah,
I've been fantastic, you know, in the games he's played for the Borough. It took him a little while to settle down, didn't it? But he's been fantastic.
Yeah.
Would you take a punt on him either way, whether we got promoted or whether we don't get promoted? Would you like to see him at the club next year?
Well, I wouldn't think it would be a punt. I think it would be an absolutely fantastic signing. But I think it's on him, to be honest with you. I think he would want to prove himself in the Premier League. He's got that thing. He's got a bit of character about him, I think. So it's on him, but I would take him straight away, yeah, without a doubt. I think he's a fantastic footballer, and he would definitely, if we don't go up this year, he would be the first name on the team sheet for next year for me. Honestly, I think he's absolutely fantastic. I think the only thing it took him to get running was his fitness, to be honest with you. I think first few games he was unfit, now he's got his fitness, he is fantastic.
I think at Everton they sort of played him a bit more defensively, didn't they?
Yeah.
I think you know, Pulis is sort of giving him that bit more free rein, isn't he? To play a bit more. Probably my only downside of him is I'd like to see him get some more shots off like he did a couple of weeks ago. But other than that, I mean, he is a fantastic player, isn't he? He showed his worth. As for the rest, you know, who would you like? What type of players would you like to see at the club, Gal?
I think I'm watching Housen and he gets better and better every week, but I still think we need a goal-scoring midfielder, someone who's going to push in the middle, because I think we've got the width, we've got someone up front, but we haven't got anyone like in a proper 10 role who can, you know, like I'm going to say the bad word, Ramirez, that type of player. We need one of them, but one with a bit more loyalty and a sense of belonging. But apart from that, that's what I'd be looking for.
That's it. Not like you to sit on the fence, Gal. I mean, obviously, we're looking forward to the playoffs. There's a number of permutations. You know, the Borough could drop down one. There's a number of permutations. But I'm just going to ask you, and the obvious question is, who would we like to avoid? Obviously, there's Cardiff, Villa or Fulham. Is there one of them particular teams, Ryan, you would rather not play or rather play, or?
Avoid Cardiff at all costs for me. It would just become a scrap, and they are the best team in the league at long ball game and a scrap. I know it was under Monk, but the game at the Riverside was just one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. From both sides, it was just not football. And they'll beat us at that. They are better at doing long ball. They're better than anyone in the league at doing long ball, so I'd avoid them at all costs.
I mean, there's a lot of experience there in the managers, isn't there? I mean, Pulis, Warnock, Bruce, I mean, they've all been in this position before. They've all had teams come up from the Championship. So, I mean, there's a lot there, Gal. Is there a team you'd like to avoid?
I agree with what Ryan's saying to a degree, but I don't fear any of them. I really don't. I genuinely believe that if we play to our capabilities... I think back to Fulham and Aston Villa when they come in, they just banged up against us. They didn't come to attack us. They were scared of us. And for me, I think anyone we face at home, I'd go for 2 up front. I'd go for Bamford and Sombalonga up front.
So I've got to start, like, if the Borough hold a 3-point and 3-goal advantage over Derby, obviously they'll stay 5th. At the Riverside will host the first leg, 5:15 on Saturday, May the 12th, and the second leg will obviously be at Villa Park on Tuesday the 15th of May. I sort of spin it on its head, me. I think that all them 3 clubs probably don't want to play the informed team, which is us at the moment, isn't it? So I mean, for me, I would probably look at it that way. Ipswich, never been a good place really for the board. I think I was looking at some stats today, and I've got some stats. I think we've, lots of draws. I think the last time we were down there, I think we won actually.
Stuani and Nugent, I think it was our first win in over 10 years. Yeah.
Do you think Tony will go down there gunning for? I mean, we've seen him in the press conference. Is he going to go gunning for the win, or you think he's just happy to sort of play the season out?
He'll do a professional job. He might make the odd change, but I think it'll be a strong team. He wouldn't want to let the fans down because we'll sell it out as we always do. It's a long way to see a B team. Long way. The other thing I'd want him to do is experiment with a Sombalonga and Bamford. Maybe put Bamford wide. The last time that happened was Sunderland away when he hauled Britt off. I think Britt's looking a different player now. So I'd like to see them two for the home leg in the playoffs. Maybe give Craney a run out, maybe. But apart from that, I think it'd be pretty strong, to be honest with you.
I mean, he says the right things, Tony Pulis. I mean, I think I seen something this week where I think somebody from the media asked him about pressure and said to Tony Pulis, is this pressure now in the playoffs? And I think his comment was, pressure is holding down a full-time job and being able to afford to pay your bills and the mortgage. That's why I think he sort of, the fans are taking him, aren't they, Gal?
Definitely, he's an old-fashioned manager in a modern game. He says it as it is. You never ever hear him say anything that you think, he's just saying that for the cameras. He generally, it's as if it's coming from the heart. I've got a lot of time for him. He's just good old-fashioned. He's got all his ducks in a row. This is how it is. If you don't like it, disappear. And I think that's good.
I mean, looking at the Ipswich game, I think it would be easy. And looking at the press conference, which we've already seen, he sort of alluded that he may change things. Again, we said it earlier, you're sort of damned if you do and damned if you don't, aren't you? I'm sure there's people on the bench who'd want a little run out, but I'm sure that probably staying where we are in the table could probably be better for us, in my opinion. What do you think?
I think stay fifth, definitely. I think Villa's a better tie than Cardiff or Fulham. I think he'll want that. I think he's smart enough to want that. And you don't want to be losing and then going into the playoffs. You really don't. I mean, a draw would be all right, but you don't want to be losing and then go into then G yourself up again for the playoffs, because when you've got a run, keep it going.
And like we have said, we are the informed side, aren't we? I mean, it's never a nice place to go, Portman Road, but obviously managerless, and they've been managerless a while, really. But I mean, I still think they want to beat the Borough, won't they?
I think it's professional pride in all the footballers. We sometimes we're a bit, they're not interested, but deep down I think they care. And you've got to listen. It's not what the other managers are saying. It's their, like, is it Calderwood who's been saying stuff about the Borough and all that, and you're thinking, well, I can remember him pushing Karanka when he was at Brighton the last game. So the mind games will start, but I just think Tony Pulis is too clever to get involved in that rubbish. Very clever.
I agree. I think he likes things like that. I mean, we've got a big. I just want to talk about a big event which is going to happen on Friday night at the Riverside Stadium. And it's the team of 73-74, which is the club have flew players in from Australia, and obviously they're trying to get this team back together, and I think it'll be absolutely fantastic to see. And Big Jack will be there. They're going to have a night from at the Riverside Stadium on Friday, and they've brought out this souvenir brochure. You can purchase them. You purchase them through the club, but if you get in touch with us at Red Army, we can get you. We can see you right on that. We've got. I think the former players have organised it, and it should be a cracking night. There's going to be a dinner, and you know, just to see all them players back again, it would be, you know, fantastic. Like I say, I mean, it was a cracking side, wasn't it? But well before your time, Ryan. Anyway,
not much in it.
Predictions for Ipswich. Ian, what do you reckon?
2-0 to
2-0
the Borough.
Borough.
Yeah.
2-1 Borough.
2-1 Borough. You think it's going to be a tight affair?
I just think last game of the season, they'll want to put on a show as well, Ipswich, but I think 2-1. I think we're too strong.
Well, I'm going to sit on the fence and say Borough 6-0. But
yeah.
No, I think I'm with you, Ian. I think the Borough will go down and win 2-0. Ian, thank you very much. It's been fantastic having you both on. Ryan, it's been fantastic seeing you again, having you both on the sofa. It's been brilliant.
Cheers, Mark.
Join us again next week for Red Army TV. I'll see you soon.